Check out the link in the description below and you can find a worksheet that goes along with this lesson. Welcome back to Ukulele Corner. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at learning how to do bar chords with any finger in the left hand. This is a challenge, but it really opens up a lot of possibilities and ways of connecting chords with very minimal motion. And I have a dear friend named Benny Chong, who's a phenomenal jazz ukulele player, and he'll do a lot of interesting motion between chords that don't involve moving fingers around the fingerboard as much, because he goes in and out of doing very interesting shapes in bar chords, and I want to teach that to you. So let's take a look at it. The first thing I want to practice is the idea of barring with a finger other than just your index. You may be very comfortable doing that if you've ever played a B-flat chord. It's very common to lay the first finger across one string, 2, 3, or 4. But what about the other fingers? It's not that common. As you, in your experience, you might not have tried to bar, let's say, the second finger. And it's a very common chord shape is to bar the 3rd fret across 2 strings. You could try just that, maybe 3 strings. Rarely, you might even bar 4. Same thing with the 3rd finger. 1 note, 2, 3, or 4. I'm trying that at the 3rd position. I'm just using my thumb to play various pitches. Pinky, I'll do the 4th fret. Now pinky is really tricky, but fortunately we don't often bar 4 notes. We might bar 3, but more commonly maybe 2. It's not as common to do bars with the pinky, but really focus on adding the 2nd and 3rd finger in there. I'm going to throw the pinky into the mix though. We're going to look at an exercise for that, and it's just going to cover 2 strings. So what I want to practice is pivoting between a non-bar chord and a bar chord. And so this is a really important part of this technique. First step, just get comfortable, as we're just doing, listening to 2 notes with your 2nd finger. It could be anywhere in the fingerboard. Let's say 5th fret. 3 notes or 4. Do the note test. If you're getting any muffled sounds, just try to change your hand position. It doesn't take a lot of pressure, and that's really the key to this, is you're not gripping. It's more about hand position. So we're going to start by just doing a pivot with index finger. So even if you are comfortable barring with your index finger, you might not be comfortable going in and out of, let's say, an F to B flat. It's a very common example of this, and this is our first example. I'm going to play an F chord, and without changing my hand position very much, what we want to get is flexibility with every finger with a tip joint, where your tip joint can just flex down and you can immediately come in and out of a bar chord. So for example, when I'm playing F, let's leave out the lowest 2 strings. I'm just going to play an F and an A, 2nd fret of the 2nd string, high string open, and flatten that finger, and then get right back. Without leaving contact on the 2nd string. And you do that by flattening the tip joint. That flexibility is really important for this. And if your finger feels very stiff, just give it a little bit of lomi lomi, little Hawaiian style massage, gently for each finger. Believe it or not, it helps to loosen it up. You just want to get that flexibility. Even when you're not playing the ukulele and not practicing, you can still work on just limbering up your fingers to do this. So now, with that in mind, I want you to try, without leaning to the side or lifting up your finger and putting it back down, play an F chord across all 4 strings, 2, 0, 1, 0, and then a B flat. You could play fingerstyle with your right hand or strum with your thumb. I'm just doing a strum with my thumb. I have a high G tuning here, low G tuning, same idea. So we want to be able to go back and forth. The exercise here, I wrote 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. You can keep repeating that until it feels comfortable. You can, of course, can do it very slowly. That is pivoting with index finger. Next, we're going to pivot with the second finger, and we're going to play an interesting chord shape here. We're going to bar across all 4 strings, and I'm going 2, 4, 3, 2. And it's very close if you played a G chord using the F shape, but we're just moving our third finger down to the 3rd string. So 2nd fret of the 4th string, 3rd, then 2nd fret, and then actually the 4th fret of the 3rd string, 2nd string, 3rd fret, high string, 2nd fret. So frets go from low 4th string up, it goes 2, 4, 3, 2. Here's our challenge. We're going to collapse the tip joint of the 2nd finger and get this very common, wonderful A minor 7th shape, which is also, it has a bunch of names. It could be a C6 chord, could be a F major 9, could be a minor 7th. With one shape, you can cover 3 chords. It's really amazing. Fundamental jazz chord right here. This is a really good one. So 1st finger, 3rd, now I'm just using my 2nd finger. A lot of times, many people will hold this chord, and I do it at times, depending what I'm playing, using the 3rd finger and 2nd finger to cover those high strings. Now we're just making it simple with a 2nd finger bar. And it's not going to be simple, I should say, if you haven't done it before. It takes relaxing that tip joint. And so, just without even playing, place your 2nd finger on that 3rd fret of the 2nd string, flatten it until it covers the high string, and then come back and forth. Just by flexing the tip joint down, collapsing the finger, which we usually try to avoid, but now we're really using it to our advantage here. And it makes it so we can get between these 2 chords without a big leap with my left hand. Watch, all I have to do is flatten that finger. So you can get moving melodies with static fingers below. I'm throwing in my pinky there in the 5th fret for fun. So the exercise, the second exercise, we go 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and again. We call this first shape an A minor 9th. So A minor 9th, A minor 7th, A minor 9th, A minor 7th, A minor 9th. It's hard to say it that fast. Just by barring the 2nd finger. Okay, shake out your left hand. I know that's a bit of a workout. Let's try the next example. We're going to play B flat, only barring index finger on the top 2 strings. And even if you don't play the high string in this example, we can leave that out, even have it muffled. But either way, if you want to get the high string ringing, it's great. We're going to practice now flattening our 3rd finger right from where it is on the 4th string, 3rd fret of a B flat chord. And we're going to try to get just 3 notes. 3rd fret of the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. And I still can use my 1st finger to play the high string. There's an E flat chord using a bar with a 3rd finger. And it's a hinge bar, which means the high string is not being covered. I'm only covering 4, 3, and 2, and I'm leaving enough of a gap there so the high string can ring. If that's too difficult at first, like I said before, just mute that with your index finger. And we're going to try to do some wiggling now with our 3rd finger. This is very important technique. It allows for economy of motion in your left hand. Think of how hard it would be to, and it breaks the sound apart versus, wow, by barring the finger, I'm just easily moving with very limited motion with the left hand. I pivot a little bit with my arm, but not much. It's mainly just letting that tip joint collapse. So that is exercise number 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 4. The chords are B flat, E flat, B flat, E flat, B flat. You could do this in any position. Up a fret. There's the B going to an E. C going to F. There's a lot you can do with that technique. That is getting comfortable barring the 3rd finger. One last thing I'll say about this is that often the 3rd finger bars the top 2 or 3 strings as well. So let's say if we cover the 3rd fret, across the top 3 strings, leave the 4th string open. That works as a C minor chord. Very common chord also is to put either the 2nd finger or the 1st finger down on the 2nd fret, and that note A on the 4th string. This gives you an F9 chord, or an A minor 7 flat 5, or a C minor 6. Once again, one shape gives you 3 chord names. Many times it's thought as an F9 chord, which is a substitute for F7. So that's an example of barring the top 3 strings with the 3rd finger. Okay, once again, shake out your left hand. This time I think we better do a little bit of a stretch too, because that was really pushing it, right? The last one isn't so bad. We're going to play a bar now with our pinky. Tricky to do, but we're just going to cover the top 2 strings. I'm going to show you a way of playing an A minor chord that's related to G minor. You free up your 1st finger, move up 2 frets. It's a G minor shape. 2, 4, 5, 3. From the 4th string going up. 2, 4, 5, 3. What we're going to do is get this A to be A minor, to be an A minor 11th chord, it's called, by putting our pinky flat. Now I have to really flatten. I find that I can't get my pinky just to flex like the other fingers. 2nd and 3rd finger, I didn't have to change position. I have that flexibility. I really have to lean my hand in order to get my pinky to flatten here. So I'm doing a little bit more wrist rotation here and forearm rotation. A little bit more work, but it beats lifting off all the fingers except for the index and completely rearranging and then jumping back and forth. You're not going to have smoothness. Once again, you can get that nice, smooth connection of melody by using this technique with the pinky. So very slowly, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Bar chord with the pinky across the top 2 strings. So I was ending up there going from 2, 4, 5, 3 to 2, 4, 5, barring pinky, 5 on top. And you can follow the sheet music. There's tablature that has this to help you along. Now that's a lot of information, but it's a lot of very, very useful, important information. So spend some time with this lesson and work on each finger, getting that flexibility, and it will really do wonders for your playing.